Hello, I'm Kimberlie Acosta. Welcome to the Native News Update on Thursday, June 17th. Many of the stories you hear here can be found at our website, IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Traffickers in Mexico and Canada increasingly are using Indian reservations along the borders as conduits for bringing marijuana, ecstasy, and other illicit drugs into the United States. The drug gangs are taking advantage of weak and underfunded tribal police forces and the remoteness of tribal lands, and they find that high unemployment rates and resentment of federal law enforcement agencies make some young Native Americans ready allies. Drug seizures on tribal lands have risen sharply. In 2005, law enforcement agents made 292 seizures totaling 67 tons of marijuana. By 2009, they tallied 1,066 seizures totaling more than 159 tons. Cocaine also was moving in. On July 11th, the U.S. Attorney for Arizona indicted 9 Tohono people on trafficking charges, ending a 5-month probe in which undercover agents made 39 buys totaling more than 250 grams of cocaine. The U.S. Justice Department is closely watching on 2 reservations where it says the problems are most acute: the St. Regis Mohawk Reservation in upstate New York and the Tohono O'odham Reservation in Arizona. The deadline to authorize payment of a Native American Trust Fund lawsuit settlement has been pushed back for a 5th time. The extension to July 9th gives the Senate more time to pass an American Jobs and Closing Tax Loopholes Act, which carries the funding for the $3.4 billion settlement, according to Eloise Cobell, the lawsuit's lead plaintiff and member of the Blackfeet tribe. The settlement, agreed upon in December after 13 years of litigation, will pay up to as many as 500,000 Native Americans for trust land mismanagement, among other functions. While passage of the bill stalled June 16th, Cobell continued to fight amendments proposed by Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming that she said would kill the settlement. Despite criticism from the Obama administration and lawmakers, Barrasso said that his revisions strengthened the deal, including cutting attorney fees in half to $50 million. The New Mexico state's highest court has ruled that the New Mexico law enforcement officers can enter tribal lands to investigate crimes committed off-reservation by American Indians. The unanimous decision by the state Supreme Court on June 15th carved out an exception to a long-standing legal doctrine in New Mexico that state and local law enforcement had no authority over tribal members on Indian lands. The court affirmed that the drunk driving conviction of David Harrison, a member of the Navajo Nation, and allowed the use of DWI evidence gathered on the reservation by a non-tribal law enforcement officer. The Navajo Nation and Santa Ana Pueblo have submitted written arguments in the case, saying that tribal sovereignty would be damaged if the DWI conviction was affirmed. Richard Hughes, a Santa Fe lawyer representing Santa Ana, said the ruling was a step backward in New Mexico law on the limit of state authority on Indian land. The New Mexico court said that the legal dispute could have been avoided had the Navajos and San Juan County had a cross-commission agreement to empower state officers to act as tribal officers in some instances. The Federal Bureau of Indian Affairs plans a Northeast Nevada meeting ahead of an August 2nd deadline for Western Shoshone tribal members to apply for government land loss settlement money. A Bureau of Indian Affairs official, Matt Kane, said the June 19th meeting at the Elko Colony Gymnasium would be about the distribution of about $185 million in settlement money. A 2004 law authority's distribution of money set aside in 1978 by the Federal Indian Claims Commission for lands acquired through so-called gradual encroachment. Opponents maintain that the Western Shoshone never gave up the millions of acres in the Great Basin under the 1863 Treaty of Ruby Valley. Western Shoshone Claims Steering Committee official Felix Ike says more than 8,400 applicants have been filed so far. Tribal lands make up only 5% of the United States' total land area, but represent an enormous potential for the production of renewable energy. The 55 million acres of land across the nation controlled by Native American tribes can potentially produce an estimated 535 billion kilowatts an hour of electricity from wind power and more than 17 trillion kilowatts per hour from solar energy. These projections are equivalent to more than 4 times the amount of electricity generated annually in the United States and represents new economic and employment opportunities for many Native American communities. The U.S. Department of Energy's Oregon National Laboratory, together with the U.S. Department of the Interior, are working together to help educate future tribal leaders on energy resource development and environmental evaluations by offering several hands-on learning opportunities such as tribal energy internships and the Indian Education Renewable Energy Challenge. To recruit and train the next generation of tribal energy and natural resource management professionals, Oregon hosts a unique summer internship program specifically for American Indian and Alaska Native college students. This year's program includes interns participating from Ojibwe, Navajo, Shoshone-Bannock, Seneca, Confederated Salish and Kootenai, Eastern Shoshone, and Cherokee. Alpha Wolf actor Chaske Spencer is leading the Twilight community in supporting Be the Shift. Be the Shift is an organization dedicated to responding to pressing Native American community issues, including a current crisis among South Dakota Lakota Sioux. For the launch party on June 14th, Wolfpack actors packed right in to help. In addition to attending the event, many of the stars have promoted the organization through their Twitter accounts as well as recorded public service announcements. Be the Shift mission is threefold: to create awareness of current issues and conditions facing Native American communities, to create alternatives that promote dignity, justice, unity, and accountability, and to take action that supports the creation of these alternatives. Said Spencer to Twilight Anonymous, what we are trying to do is to give a voice to the people who usually don't have a voice, and not depend on outside sources like governments and corporations when we can do it ourselves. Though the focus of the major push was the Lakota Sioux's critical need to rebuild resources after a natural disaster, the organization stresses that its goal is sustainable change. And that's the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a grand day.